Hey, welcome to the channel, everybody. Thanks for checking out the channel. This channel is called Gigadude, and this right here is one of my carbon fiber masks called the Gigadude 25. Now, the whole thought process on the Gigadude 25 was to make an ecosystem of parts that would attach to this and toppers for the actual carbon fiber mast, basically making a whole project out of a mast. And then the thought process was, as we continue to develop this and build a whole user base of people, the more we could do, but also the more different products we could have, like the world's smallest or most compact portable carbon fiber mast, all the way up to the world's largest carbon fiber mast. And somehow I managed to keep these the cheapest on the market. So today I wanted to discuss the status of the Gigadude 25, and I want to show you some of the updates that I've made to the Gigadude 25 toppers and parts. And then more importantly, I want to show you something, well actually we'll probably start off with it, something that Buddipole needs to do. I don't like to tell anybody what they need to do, but I do have a great idea for them. And well, let's just talk about it right now here on Ham Radio, dude. In some shape, way, or form, the Gigadude 25 is something that I've been working on for a while. So when it finally came to the production process and then the sales process, it's been very rewarding for me because I've been able to get a better understanding of what companies might go through when they do this whole process. And for example, Oshan recently released a KGQ10H, the handy-talkie radio, that did have some defects right out of the bat, or at least there were some defective radios. Now, old me probably would have been like, this is BS, and threw my radio across the room, or maybe at a, I don't know, side of a building or something. But now I recognize that, yeah, you know, sometimes things happen in the production process and you can't catch everything. All you could do is your best to make things better. So I just kind of wanted to point that out, that I've had a really good time making this mast right here. And along that, I did have some problems myself with these clamps. And so when I send the new clamps out to every customer who's purchased a Gigadude, I also suggested that that would be the time when maybe you put on your guy support. Now, this is a demo or a prototype guy support ring that I used a CNC mill for. But the feedback was, hey, we don't want to have to take the clamps off to put these on, and we'd like them to be removable. And it makes a lot of sense. I came up with quite a few concepts. One was like a diamond shape. One was like a square shape. And really, ultimately, at the end of the day, Don N5SKT said, hey, check out this thing from Mast Werks. And I think Mast Werks is a subsidiary of Buddipole. So Don sends me this picture of the Mast Werks clamps, and they look like this. Yeah, so I basically designed them off of the Mast Werks clamps for the Gigadude mast, at least 4 sections of the mast. And I'll show you how they work here in just a second. But I recognize, before we go any further, I recognize that, yeah, I'm not blatantly just going to rip off, you know, Buddipole and then sell their product. That would be wrong. However, I had a really good time, you know, with the whole design process of these, and starting out with a prototype that might be a little stringy with 3D printing and PETG quality, and working up to prototypes that are less stringy and a little bit stronger, you know, still using PETG, but more infill. And then finally, I actually did end up coming up with this product here. Now, let's take the legal matter aside, okay? The fact that if I sold these, I would probably get sued, you know? All the legal troubles aside, if I sold these right here as the production unit you see, I would not sell any of them because really at the end of the day, PA12, which this is made of, is very durable. It's great, right? It's a nylon type material, very strong. It uses multi-jet fusioning in order to adhere all the layers. And so, yeah, great, except for me to make 2 of these would cost me about $27 for 2 of them. And as we continue up, we have 4 sections. So that's 2 times 4, 8, 20, 40, 60, 80. I'm sorry, $80, right? I don't math, apparently. Yeah, somewhere between somewhere between $80 and $100 is what these would cost to actually get made. And so for me to have to sell them as a set would cost as much as another Gigadude carbon fiber mast, which would just be absolutely absurd. Now, I know I just said my math sucks, but that was correct. You could probably almost buy another Gigadude for that same cost of a set of 4 of these, because if I have them made for, let's say they cost me $100 to get them made, that means I'm going to sell them for $200 for a set. And again, I know that that is absurd. Unfortunately, I just don't have the resources like a company hopefully like Buddipole has, where they could maybe get injection molding and actually be able to recover the cost of injection molding because they would make enough sales. I will never make enough sales trying to sell these as injection molded to recover that cost. And at some point you have to be financially responsible and recognize that you can't just continue to lose money. So what I would recommend here is, well, first of all, how do these work? So we got this mast here, okay? And all you do is put it on one side here, just like this. And then you take the other one and then you just snap it into place like that right there. Now, all you have to do is you have to get your 550 cord, and you could tie your 550 cord kind of like a fisherman's knot, or you could probably even use something like this with your 550 cord, which would then allow you to tighten these sides here. And you could do that on all 4 sections because I did make these for all 4 sections. And so really cool concepts. You could remove them when you want and you could use them when you want. And even though I printed these in PETG, they're very durable and reliable. These have seemed to work fine in PETG, holding my mast up with different antennas as well, as large as the JPC7 dipole. So I don't really necessarily see a problem printing them in PETG, and that's a lot less money than if I were to get these done with multi-jet fusioning PA12. And what I'm gonna do, because I don't wanna sell these and I don't wanna get sued, but what I am going to do is I'm going to put these on Thingiverse so that if you have a 3D printer, you could print them yourself. If you purchased a Gigadude from me and you want a set of printed ones, just contact me and I'll charge you the cost of the filament plus shipping, so I'm not making a profit still. Then I got feedback regarding the toppers for the Gigadude. And although I liked it when the Gigadude topper for the dipole was thicker because it felt more durable, and I got some feedback saying that it wasn't liked because sometimes when you fit a screw through, you then can't fit the coupler on top, or you can't fit the coupler onto here. So that's what I did on this dipole topper, if you will. I did narrow the antenna mounts or the bolt mounts so that the bolt fits through better. And with that though, I did thicken the centerpiece and I did fill in the blank space. Now the blank space wasn't a huge deal when it came to my last mount, but I figured that if I'm narrowing these and I'm trying to reduce my whole size of this and make it lighter, but also I really just kind of wanted to make sure that I had that filled in for the strength and the durability. And I think it's going to be okay. And you might be thinking, well, can't you just 3D print them? Because this will cost me, per each one of these, this is about $37 for me to print. This is again PA12 multi-jet fusioning. Can't you just 3D print them? And I would say yes, you can. Now again, this is a prototype or whatever you want to call it. But the problem with this is it's not going to support the weight. You have many points of failure here, and I want to discuss those real quick. Okay, if I print it like this, which I did, what's going to happen when it goes inside of here and we get a lot of weight on the sides? Well, it's eventually going to break at its weakest point, and that's going to be how it printed. Each layer in fusion deposition molding or FDM printing, each layer is going to go up, each layer, and that means that these are adhered weak. It's their weak point. And so there's a theory there that it could possibly break, and this is something like 80% infill. So it's very durable and strong as it is, but I wouldn't want to put a lot of weight on here. I would probably only put hand sticks on here at a max. And so that's probably a reason why I don't just print all of these in 3D printing, not to mention the time it would take. Now you might say, well, why don't you print it like this? Well, then if I print it like this, I have the lines going this way. And so when the antenna's pulled down, it's going to snap here or here. Not really a great way to print it. Maybe at an angle like this, then there's a lot of time involved and a lot of support structure. It becomes kind of cumbersome. So these are updated, but they cost a lot of money. And finally, then I got a suggestion from Jack. And Jack out in Arizona said, hey, can you do the whole dipole topper, but could you add a spot on top for a piece of PVC pipe? And this is what I think we envision. Okay, so this is going to snap into place. Again, this is fusion deposition, or I'm sorry, this is PA12 nylon. And this is going to snap into place, and it's going to snap into, click into lock in here. You can put your large dipoles, 17-foot antennas on each side, and then you're going to put a piece of PVC right here. The PVC slides over this, and if you want to, you could probably drill a hole through here. Although that could weaken the actual strength of the part. Anyway, the PVC can go high, about a foot. And then what you could do is you could have 550 cord again, holding up each section of the 17-foot antenna that droops from the PVC. And there is a problem with this as well, right? Well, it's not necessarily a structural problem, but these cost me $60 each time I have one of them multi-jet fusions or PA12, which means that I would have to charge somewhere around $100 to $120 for this. And that's just, again, that's rough. It's good for a special case scenario, but I'm not going to have like 100 of these on stock at every time. I'll put them on the store, but there'll be like a 2-week wait if you do decide to purchase them. So those are just kind of a few things that I've been working on with the Mast, but there is more. And I would like to demonstrate these for you. We'll go outside and we'll demonstrate them soon. But the problem is it's starting to rain. Now, a couple of things. Number one, Bud and Chris from Buddipole. Hey, again, no disrespect intended. I love your idea. I think it's great. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think that Bud or Chris are even watching this? And I think that you have something here better than Mast Werks, better than a clamp for just your mast. But I really think that you guys probably have something making universal mast clamps, and you have the ability to, well, you know the production process better than just a small YouTube channel like me, as some people would say. You might even have access to inexpensive injection molding, which would be making these parts extremely inexpensive for you to produce. And that's why I say roll with it. Bud, Chris, if you need anything as far as dimensions go for this mast and many other masts, reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you out. And I think it would be better than being sued. With all jokes aside, though, I think that that's a great idea. Now, what's the status of the Gigadude 25? Well, the Gigadude 25 status is, it's about to be defunct. And again, I told you and I mentioned that I had a really good time with the whole process of learning about designing, working with production companies, working to make sales. And, you know, the fact of the matter is people, no matter how cheap a carbon fiber mast is, it will always be too expensive for some people. I just got to accept that. But there's just not a high demand out there for a carbon fiber mast, no matter how inexpensive it is. And with that, I can't sit on inventory for months and months and months and hope that it sells one day, because that's what I'm doing right now. I have about 19 of these left in my inventory, and they're just sitting in storage. And that's money that could be utilized elsewhere. And so I don't think that after the last 19 sell here, I'll continue on with the sales of more carbon fiber masts. What'll happen is in 2 years, people will be like, you got any more of those carbon fiber masts left? And I'll be like, man, that was 2 years ago. And what I will say is, again, I had a great time making these and I don't have any hard feelings. Now I just got to focus on something else to continue with. And that doesn't mean I'm stopping, continuing designing and implementing and supporting the mast and the customers currently. It just means that I'm going to focus my effort elsewhere to try to make my mark in ham radio and ham radio related fun. With that, hey, just a fun little quick episode, kind of explain the status of the Gigadude, some of the parts that I'm still working on and designing, and well, there's plenty more to come, I'm sure. I'm having a good time doing it. Thanks for watching the channel. I hope you had a good time, and if you did, consider hitting that like button and maybe even subscribing. This channel is called Ham Radio Dude. That's my dog over there, Chuck, somewhere right there. And thanks for watching.